Dear friends, welcome back. In this video, I'd like to take a look at one machine on the Vulnhub, which is Sunset Solstice. The link will be added into the description section below, so that if you want, you can download and then play the machine. This machine has a lot of rabbit holes, I'd like to point out. And also, very strange thing is, with the lock poisoning. Although I've already done several similar machines with lock poisoning. Usually we can use bubble sweet to poison or manipulate the user agent, and then this activity or this request would be stored into the log. So then the log of the web application would be poisoned, right? However, when I did the machine, I failed to, even I get the error by doing this way. So alternatively, I used another way. If you can do it by changing or manipulate the user agent with the bubble sweet, please let me know in the comment below. Okay, so without further ado, let's just get started. We can switch over to the Kali Linux VM. First of all, we need to discover the IP address of the target. The utility I'd like to use, as always, would be net discover. So as you can see over here, the IP address of the target could be recognized as 191. And then what are we going to do next? We need to do the port and service scanning with the mmap. To save time of this video, I've already completed before. So for now, at this moment, we just get out its result. So as you can see over here, I used the options like scene scan, the version scan, the default script scan, followed by the -p- to do the full range port scan or complete port scan. The last option for all is on to output the result into this file. So from the map scanning, we can tell that the target has so many open port numbers, like 21, which is running FTP service, and also the version information. And the next one is 22, which is running SSH service, and also the version information, Open SSH. I don't think we can find any vulnerability for this specific version of Open SSH service. The next one is 25, which is running SMTP service. Usually we cannot find the vulnerability from such service. The next one is 80, which is running HTTP service, and also the version information, Apache 2. And the next two port number are used by or for Samba service. And the next one is 21. 21 is also running FTP service, and also the version information. And also we can tell that this survey or this port number allows anonymous login. And the next one, 3128, the mmap cannot make sure the service information. The next one is 8593, which is running HTTP service, and also the version information. Of course, this is the PHP. It's not Apache 2. We need to keep this into our minds as we go ahead. The next one is 54787, which is running HTTP service as well. And I think the service is exactly the same as this one. Okay, and last one is also running FTP service, and also the version information. So what are we going to do next? Of course, we need to do enumeration. So where do we shoot? Where do we have to start from? As I mentioned in other videos, I think I'd like to start from the file sharing service. And in this case, there will be two types, the FTP service and also the Samba service. I'd like to start from one by one, like the first one, FTP. And the port number is default one, anonymous, no password. However, login failed, so we can exit. Then we can use such a sprite to look for the vulnerability for this version. So we can copy the version. No results. So let's move on to the next FTP service, which is running 2121. We can use the -p to specify the port number if the port number is not default one, 2121. And we can put the anonymous as username and no password. And we can list and we can log in without problem, and we can go to the pub directory. We cannot, okay, we can run, nothing there. So next we need to try to upload the file or document through the FTP, right? So we can prepare some simple file, and we can use put and test, but not enough privileges. All right, so we need to exit from this FTP session. And the last FTP service which is running, not this number, yeah, this number, and we can copy and paste in the end. However, although we are connected to the target, we cannot do anything. Next, we can use such a sprite to look for the vulnerability for this service, because this is different service or software. Fruit, float, yeah, a lot of exploits, even the version, because the version is 1.0, right? However, I don't think we can find any workable vulnerability at this moment. So I think this should be some sort of a rabbit hole. And we have already completed the first, or completed the enumeration of the first type of file sharing service, FTP. Now we can enumerate the Samba service. We can use SMB client with option of uppercase L followed by the IP address of the target. We are hand there. We are harm. Okay? The protocol negotiation timed out against the target. All right. So now I think we have already completed the enumeration with file sharing service. And now we can move forward to this port number 80. Let's open up our browser to do the manual enumeration. So currently configuring the database, try later, and also give us the version information. Maybe this is some sort of the CMS, so we can use such a sprite and paste the CMS name. And we got this one, SQL injection. Of course, although the version exactly matches, however, because I think this site is not actually effective or active. Currently configuring the database, try later. In other words, we cannot find the entry to test or exploit this SQL injection vulnerability. And so at this moment, we could do nothing with this pod number or with this exploit, sorry. And next, we can, for example, we can run automatic enumeration with this pod number. And I don't think we can find anything from Nikto. So next we can use GoBuster to do the directory enumeration in case we miss some important information, right? Share word list. Dear Buster, I always use this word list to begin with. And extension option text, press enter. As you can see, we found some directories like app. We can access this app. So forbidden, and also the backup. We can take a look at the backup. We got the same error, forbidden. So of course, I will not wait. If you want, you can make deeper enumeration with the backup because it deserves our try, right? Backup. So we got the error. We can exclude the lanes. Press enter. I don't think we can find anything important from this step. So to save time of this video, I'd like to interrupt it here. So I think we have already done almost everything what we can with this pod number. Let's move on to the next pod number. Cat out again because I cannot remember the open pod numbers clearly. So next one, I think we can turn our focus on this pod number. We can copy and paste in here. So we got the page back, and there are two links: main page, nothing interesting, book list. So from the pattern of this URL, we can guess that there will be possibly file inclusion vulnerability. Okay, let's try it. For example, we can use what I'm typing. All right, great. We successfully retrieved the password file. And if you check out the response, we can know that the target has one normal user. We can copy. So what do we have to do next? We need to exploit this file inclusion vulnerability. And let me show you in practice. So maybe I can copy the URL and do it or test it over the command line. We can use Q. And as you can see, no problem. Next, we need to check whether we can access the private key of this user. And SSH, private key. Nothing returned. And next, we can try to retrieve the bash history. Nothing returned. Next, I'd like to check if we can access the log file. Nothing returned. So next we can try to, because we know that the pod number 80 is running over on top of Apache 2. So we know the location, default location of Apache 2 should be here. Apache 2 access log. As you can see, we can. So it means that we can by file inclusion vulnerability file inclusive vulnerability, we can access the log file. So next job for us is to poison the log. And I think before we go on, I'd like to point out for you is, just now we retrieved or accessed the log file, the Apache 2. Maybe I can show you. This log file stores the log of the Apache 2 accessing activity. It's not, this port number is not Apache 2, is some sort of the PHP, right? And even maybe at this moment we didn't know location of such log. Okay, so it means that we need to poison the web application which is running on the port number 80 rather than this port number. Very important. Okay, and another thing I'd like to share with you is, although I've already mentioned at the very beginning of this video, normally if you want to poison the access log, we can use Burp Suite. For example, Burp Suite intercept the request and then change, as you can see over here, maybe I can a lot of, because I just now I've already done a lot of direct enumeration. Normally, when we try to point the access log, we use this one. This is the user agent. So we can, to point the user agent, we can, use Burp Suite, and then we can modify the user agent or replace this user agent by our web shell. Okay. However, when I did the machine the first time, I failed to poison. Even I will got the internal web server internal error of the web server. Okay, so to save time, I will not do this way. I'd like to show you another way to poison the log. As you can see, some logs, not all, every entry of the log will store like the method and also the relative path, okay, or the file, okay, and also the user agent. And at the bottom, you can know that even some log file doesn't have any user, or here, the user agent here. So this case, I will not poison the user agent. Let me show you. I can, okay, sorry. And we can use, so how to do? We can use the command line, the netcat, to connect to the target rather than Burp Suite, or use the browser. Let me show you. And we can follow by the IP address of the target and port number. Of course, we need to specify the port number explicitly. Okay, so now we can hit enter, and then we can use get, and we want to poison or embed. Let me write cmd and followed by the protocol. Let's press enter. Although we got the error 400 bad request, and if we go back to this URL, and we can access this log file, and we can go to the var log Apache 2 access log, and we can pass the parameter cmd id okay, a lot of output. And now if you scroll down to the bottom, or we can search www, not this one. Maybe I can use the data. No, not. It looks like I failed to poison the log file. Interesting. Can we run netcat? Because just now during the directory enumeration, I made a lot of requests. It looks like I failed to poison the log. Let me check it out. Welcome back. I know the reason to cause this issue. Because maybe the log rotate surface on the target failed. So because I've already done so many requests during the direct enumeration, so I think, and then we cannot write a new request to the log file. So I think this is the most possible reason. Okay, and I've already re-import the machine into the VirtualBox, and just now I used the same way to poison the access log of Apache 2. And then finally, we can use the local file inclusive vulnerability. As you can see over here, we can run the command successfully. You know, I think this is the first time I encountered such situation. Because I cannot write any more data. If you have similar issues, maybe this is the reason. Okay, so now we can proceed. And since we have already confirmed, we have already poisoned the log, and also we have already uploaded the web shell to the target. Next, we can, get the initial foothold on the target. We can check whether the netcat is there. As you can see, it's there. So next we can set up the listener on the Kali Linux by netcat. And now we can run netcat bash. Port number, press enter. It looks like it's working, right? As you can see over here, we have already got the collection from the target. And then we can spawn a better shell or more interactive shell. We can check the Python 2 is there. So we can Python 2, import PTY module, spawn. And next we need to do some local enumeration. Go to this user home directory. And of course, at this moment, we do not have permission to retrieve the user flag. And we can navigate to OPT directory, the var. Maybe we can upload the NumPy shell script to the target. I've already got this script ready. And next, we need to upload it to the target by setting up the web server On the canonics, now we can use wget. And we need to make it executable. And we can run it. When we try to make lateral movement or privilege escalation, in most cases, we need to take advantage of this script, nin-pair shell script, because it can effectively help us to enumerate the information on the target machine. For example, like binaries, which have the SUID bit and also the capability, cron job information, also some sensitive files which contain the credentials. Okay, so we can get a lot of output from this script. If we do it manually, I think for certain we will miss very important information. And now we can give it some sweet time to finish, and then to see whether we can find vectors which can help us to elevate the privilege on the target. All right, it's done. And then we can scroll up. A lot of output. Unexpected in root user. Capabilities for binaries, SUID binary. Although here you're right, SUID file. I don't think we can exploit such a file. And then let's scroll up a bit. Port number. Even we can discover this port number. And also this port number is accessed locally. Cron job information. And here reboot. Of course, I don't think we can, because such script or such command is executed when the target reboots. And also maybe we do not have a permission to modify or manipulate such directory or file. Let's move forward. So some process information. We need to, look at those processes which belong to root user. Root, Apache 2, proxy. Very interesting. As you notice here, this one, this script will run the PHP. This command is just run the web server by PHP. And the -s option is to specify the IP address and port number. Just now we have already seen this port number, right? So I think this port number is used for the web application. and also use the T option to specify the document root. So later we need to check whether we have a permission to manipulate this document root. And also this one, but this one is belong to www data, and also this one, so we do not need to. And also this one is also owned by the www data, which is not what we want, right? So maybe next we need to focus on this service. And next we can go to this directory, var temp, go to sv subdirectory. Even current user or everyone have a permission to write or manipulate this file. So I think next would be very easy. We just manipulate. Of course, at this moment, is some very simple content. We can use the echo, and we can PHP system netcat followed by the IP address of the target. We can use different port number. Okay, and we want to overwrite this PHP file. Okay, and no error. Next, we can set up the listener, which is running on different port number. And in the meantime, we can zoom in the terminal so you can see what's going on. Next, we need to access this file because just now we know that this service is accessible locally. Okay, so how to do? We can use Q, and port number is 57, and the page or file is index. And now we can press enter. It looks like it's working. As you can see, we got the collection from the target, and this should belong or owned by the root user. All right, and then we can navigate to root directory and get out the root flag. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'd like to see you in the next one. Bye. Have a nice day, please.